Hello everyone, welcome to Cabbage Patch Soap. My name is Laura, and today we will be making the Dracula soap, which was a suggestion. You guys wanted me to make some soaps based on old movies and things, and I thought that'd be fun. Um, Hi Ian, welcome. It does look like a tornado. Let me see if I can get this chat fixed. Oh, the chats are broken. Let's see. Yeah, my chat's broken. I'm not sure why. Okay, well, it does look like a tomato. Isn't it cute? Okay, so not sure what's happening with the chat or why, but let's get on with it. So yeah, this is the individual bar that I pulled out. That's the bottom and the sides, and it smells really nice. It smells like raspberries. And this is the full size bars. Let me arrange a space to place these on my shelf. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside so it doesn't get cut. So I went ahead and chose for the soap today Dracula because it was made in the movie, anyway, it was made in 1931. And then I believe the book was written in 1897, I think. And it's actually a book that I've read. So there's that. So it should be in the public domain and safe for us to use. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut this soap first. We're doing it this way instead of the wood grain way. And we'll try another wood grain soap later. I'm going to wait until it's cool enough for me to do it. I think it's just too hot in here and the soap is setting up too quickly. But it still looks really cool. You got these like weird layered swirls. It almost looks like a leaf or a feather or something. Or like marble. I think it's really, really pretty. So I'm really happy with how this came out. And I think that, especially with the large chunks and stuff, I think this would be better as this kind of a cut rather than the wood grain since, like I said, it just got too hot. Oh, still on a video call. Poor Ian. Well, hopefully that goes well. All right, here's the other side. And I like the hint of green going through here. It didn't take over at all, so that's good. Hi, Lorna. Welcome. All right, and here's this side. And that. So I think the swirls came out really pretty. I'm really happy with this result. And there's the tops. And these are raspberry scented. And then here's the end pieces. That's what that looks like. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I'm going to go ahead and put these on the shelf to cure. And then I will move this cutter. And then we'll get started on the Dracula soap. Now, I had another fragrance in mind. I'm not going to be using the fragrance that I originally had planned for the soap because I'll tell you. The fragrance that I had planned for the soap was called Bite Me. And I thought, oh, haha, a Dracula soap fragranced with Bite Me. That would be so funny. However, when I read the fragrance profile, I saw that it was basically like a tropical, like punch, like fruit blend with a little bit of florals. And I thought, that doesn't scream vampire to me, especially not the original like Dracula type. Um, it is, I don't know. But I did want something that had, I don't know, maybe a name or fragrance profile that kind of went with it. Also, the other reason is because that particular fragrance will turn the soap a tan color, which is okay if I wanted to do like sepia tones, but I didn't. I was hoping to stick to black and white. Now, if the soap does turn sepia tones, that's completely fine, but I didn't want like a super like fruit punch fruity type fragrance. So I chose a different one, and maybe we'll go back to the Bite Me for something else. But okay, let's get this settled. So these are the little containers I'll be using. I'm gonna move everything aside. Got soap on here still. Okay. All right. So what we'll be using is a little bit of this. Is called Trial by Fire. It's by Nurture Soap. I have links down below where you can get it. It's a beautiful, like a true red, in my opinion. Hi, Stacy. Welcome. Oh wow, drive safely. And anyway, so I wanted to use a little bit of that, and then I have black iron oxide, which gives a really potent black color. And I thought maybe we'd use this. It's called pewter silver for the gray. I thought maybe we could put some gray in there, and of course white because it was a black and white movie. The fragrance I chose is called Black Cherry Bomb. I don't know if the camera is focusing or not. Anyway, this does have a cherry scent to it, but it also has something else. It smells almost like almond, maybe like cherry almond, and something else. I don't know. It's a very rich smelling fragrance. It's not overpoweringly like fruity and sweet. It's not really sweet. And I would say this is probably a very or the most gender neutral cherry fragrance I've ever smelled. It smells really really nice. I think this is something anybody could use, and yeah, so I like that one a little bit better for what we're making. I am now looking for my face shield. Where did it go? It's probably right where I left it last, which is why I can't find it. I thought it was right here. Well, that's what I get for cleaning. Let's see. Ah, right there. Okay. It's only ever in two places, but it's see-through, so I couldn't see it, you know. All right, let me put this on real quick. Okay, so this fragrance should not turn brown. It doesn't have any vanilla in it, but we don't know for sure. It is a new fragrance. I also don't know if it's going to accelerate or not. Stop saying bad things about you. I wouldn't want to disappoint you. Okay, so here's our oils. They've been melted down. These are a little bit warmer than room temperature, but that's completely fine. And I was thinking for this, maybe we could do a drop swirl, but add the red at the end so it's closer to the top. That's what I'm thinking. And okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add this in. This is the lye water. It's already got the sea salt in it. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this in. And also, if there's any lag or anything, I apologize. It may be on my end. I noticed that today the internet was acting funny, so hopefully I don't disappear. Okay, so there's that. Then we will just mix this briefly. And I'm going to do my usual, barely get this mixed together, and then blend more when I put in the colors. Just because this is a little on the warm side, and it's a warm day, and yada yada. Okay, so okay. Alright, so let's start breaking this apart to different containers. Have any of you guys seen the Dracula movie or read the book? It's really different from, I guess you'd call them modern vampire stories. I actually really liked it. I didn't think I was going to, but then I ended up really liking it. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit more. This is separating. I'm going to put a little bit more in this one here. I'll use this for the red. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. And all this looks fine. Okay. Okay. Actually, the fact that it's separating is good. It means I have not yet overmixed it. Okay. I'll put the white in here. I'm going to shake it up and make sure it's really mixed in there well. Okay. There's some white. And let's do... Actually, you know what I'm going to do instead? I want a little bit more white because I want less of the gray. Because I think that will be better. Okay, so let's put a little bit more white in there. Okay, there we go. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to put the black oxide in this one. And this, just like we saw with that brown oxide, you need very, very little, usually. I'm just going to put a few crumbs in there. We can always add more if we need to. And then here's the silver. I've only ever used this a couple of times. It's got a really pretty, like, metallic sheen to it. But in cold process soap, which is what we're making, that tends to mute down quite a bit. Well, oh, well, I guess I won't be using that spoon again. All right. Just pull that out. All right. Crisis averted. Okay. Alrighty. So, is this? Okay, that's fine. All right. Just making sure I have the right soap mold, which I do. Okay. Okay, so the red is going to go in here. I'm going to mix the red last. What I'm going to do is, and I'll also add the fragrance last as well. And just checking chats really quick here. Oh, okay, nothing. Okay, good. All right, didn't want to be missing anything. Okay. The reason I'm starting with the white is because it's the lightest color, and typically you want to go light to dark, especially with something like this where it's black and white. However, the white, the titanium dioxide that makes this white, tends to thicken soap quite a bit, so you also have to contend with that, and just make sure that you don't overmix it. I'll put more white in here. It's a little bit creamy. Now, probably when the soap cures, it'll read as white, but I'd rather not risk it. Okay, that's totally fine. All right. Cleaning up my spill. Let's go to the gray color next. That gives a really nice gray. It's like a very neutral looking gray also. And then we'll do the black. I think I will add a little bit more. Excuse me. It's I want this to be a really, really black. Okay, it's a little darker, and this is starting to thicken up, so I need to, and this I do need to stick blend in because the whisk won't get all the pieces out. I'm going to add a little more. This should be plenty at this point, and I will then, hopefully, I'm going to try not to overmix. Okay. Okay, that's good, yeah. And part of the problem is my face, oh yeah, that's definitely black. My face shield has a some soap like on it that I didn't get off completely. So it's excuse me, it's making the soap look a lighter color than it really is. All right, so I'm gonna stick this here. And I'm just gonna clean this off. All right, so let's get the red made up real quick. I'm going to whisk this in just because. Yeah. And this is my favorite red because typically it doesn't bleed into other colors unless, I don't know, it almost never does. And so I can feel safe using it in colorful designs. Excuse me one moment. Sorry about that. Okay, so I feel safe using it with other colors, and as long as I don't overdo it, it doesn't usually bleed. So, and it gives a really nice, vibrant red. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so I got to get this done before it all sets up on me. Okay, I'm just going to let that sit there. This is getting thick, and these two still look okay. So I'm going to put everything in here. We're going to do an in the pot swirl, pour it into the mold, and then, like I said, right before we get to the top, we'll add the red. And I was going back and forth about, I didn't want to just do black and white because, then if we did that, then every soap that we made from like an old film would be black and white only. I wanted to add like another color to kind of represent Dracula. So I thought there were a couple different options, but I decided on red. Hopefully it's obvious. Oh, you know what I didn't add in yet? I didn't add the fragrance. Let me do that real quick. I'll add it to the white. Whoops. We'll mix that in real good. But I thought, that represents like, he drinks blood or whatever. So, all right, let's get that mixed in. There's a little bit of gray in there. It's probably too late to mix it into the black, but yeah, that smells really good. This is actually a very strong fragrance. I do not need very much at all. So probably adding it to the white and the red is like more than enough, because this is really potent. Some of the fragrances I get from Wellington are like that. They're just so potent. And we're going to do something different with this soap as well. I'm not going to put it in the oven because this fragrance has a relatively low flash point, which means that the fragrance will burn off at a lower temperature than some of the other fragrances. And I'm going to have to move this away from the camera a little bit to get the rest of this in without hitting the camera. So apologize for that. Anyway, it's got a lower flash point, so I don't want to put it in the oven and risk it getting too hot. So I'm going to leave it out. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is let me add the rest of this gray first. We're going to also like actually swirl it in the pot instead of just leaving it. My preference is just to put the colors in and then just pour straight from there. But you can also mix it or swirl it, like do the actual swirling in the pot before you pour it into the mold. So I'm going to try that as well. Let's see what we come up with here. Yeah. But anyway, this particular fragrance is extremely potent, like overkill. All right. Just going to lift. And this soap is setting up at different rates, probably because of that fragrance oil, but that's completely fine. Okay, so, oh, and you know what? Let me put a little bit of that fragrance in here in the red as well. There we go, just a little bit. All right. It's a good thing I remembered. I've seen pictures that people have submitted of like a giant, massive, like 25-pound loaf of soap that they made this gorgeous like swirl. It was so pretty, and then right next to it is the bottle of fragrance oil that they forgot to pour in. And that's just, oh, it's heartbreaking. Okay, so at this point now, I'm going to go ahead and add the red. Let me just make sure that's mixed really, really well. Just stirring it up. Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move this away from the camera again. Sorry about this. I gotta make sure I don't hit the camera, but I need to get it up high enough. I have everything in my way. I've got lamps. I've got all this stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna pour from really high up. And then the rest we can just kind of drizzle on top. And then with the rest, we'll put in here. And oops, just like before, let me move it over. Just like before, I'll pour it from really high up. And then we'll put the rest on the top. This smells really good. I love the smell of almonds. And this smells like almonds and cherry. Really strong. So I like this one a lot. I'm really glad I tried this one. Some of the fragrances, they're really delicious smelling. They smell really, really good. But this one, there's just something about it. Okay. And since I set it aside, I'm just going to gently, just barely mix that up. Making sure you're not saying anything. You like the blue grays? Yep. I love blue and gray. I like cool grays rather than warm grays, which are the blue grays, like you're saying. Unless you just mean you like blue and gray. But yeah. I'm going to carefully pour this on top. Hopefully it'll float. Looks like it is. Okay. That's kind of cool. It came out looking like ribbons on top. All right. We're going to set this aside after I cap it. Okay. In fact, I think I'm not going to... I was going to swirl the top, but I kind of like this. And I think I'm going to leave it because I like that accidental design. That was accidental. All right. Let's see. Is mold out to make the individual bar. Here we go. I'm going to put it in here. Scraping. I'm just sorry. I was off camera. I'm scraping this down. Okay. Pour it in here. So I need to think of some other movies. Oh, and also this is not the end. After this soap is cut and I let it sit for a couple days and I do the planing and beveling and whatnot on it, I will also be giving it a stamp. And it's going to have a little bat stamp. I thought that'd be really cute. There we go. Just trying to get the air out of this. Now the top of this one came out a little more plain, so I am going to swirl it. Let me get my chopstick. Oh, I may not have my chopstick anymore. Oh, you know what we could do instead? Could use this +1 fork of texture. Let me put a little more red on top. I was going to put white, but I think the red would look nice. I'm going to put it all on one side here. Well, that's what I said I was going to do. Apparently I failed. I'm going to put it over here as much as possible. And then we will drag the fork through it and see what we get. All right. So first, I'm going to fiddle with it. I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to kind of spread this out a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now before I ruin it, let me see what you're saying here. Looks cool. Thank you, Lorna. Okay, I'm going to take this and just drag it this way. Whoops, that's not what I meant. There we go. All right, there we go. So now we've got stripes. Get this to level out a little bit. There we go. So that's how that looks. So that is the Dracula soap. Like I said, I'm going to not put this in the oven. I have to find a safe place to put it, probably on my shelf over here. I'm going to see if I can get the AC thing working, cool it down in here a little bit. hopefully slow this down. Now, because I'm doing that, there's a couple of things that might happen. First, let me get this face shield off. Okay. So the first thing that might happen is maybe the whole soap will not go through gel. If that happens, then the colors might not be as bold and vibrant as usual, because typically to get those really vibrant colors, most colors need to be gelled for that. The exception is usually yellow. However, we're doing black and white, so I don't know what that means as far as vibrancy goes. It might just mean that the black is going to be like a dark gray instead of a black. Um, but again, I mean, black and white soap is not going to matter. However, it might do a partial gel, and what a partial gels look really, really cool. I don't think I have any here to show you, but a partial gel is where the soap starts gelling on the inside because it starts at the warmest point and it starts to go out like this. Well, it'll just start gelling in the center and start spreading, but if the soap isn't warm enough on the outside, it'll just kind of start to spread and then stop, and you'll end up with this circle in the middle of the soap that's a slightly different shade of the rest of the soap. And if that happens, that works out perfect because then it's just like the full moon or something. So, um, I mean, either way, whether we get a gel or no gel or partial gel, I think all three will complement the soap just fine. So I'm pretty excited to see how this turns out because as long as it doesn't volcano and explode everywhere, and as long as I don't drop it or something else, I mean, it seems like this will be a really good outcome, unless that fragrance changes the color of the soap. That's the only downfall because I don't know. This company doesn't list how their soaps or how their fragrances behave in soap, and that's completely fine. That's why we do these tests. So if that happens, we can always just not use that fragrance anymore. But it does smell really, really good. So I hope it works out. But anyway, so we will be back on Thursday to cut the soap, and probably the following Monday, I'll hopefully by then I'll have it stamped and I can show you how it looks with the stamp. And if you guys can leave me any comments about what your favorite movies are, the old movies especially, um, any of your favorite really old books, maybe, especially books that were made into movies. Maybe your favorite old fairy tales, like the Grimm's fairy tales. Um, like the ones that Disney used, and just any of those that you really like that you'd like to see turned into soap, and we'll come up with some fun ideas. And I think this will be a neat series. And in the meantime, I'll be trying to figure out how to get the wood pour to work. I might just have to go to a recipe with less hard oil or something. But anyways, but yep. And then if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps me out. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. It was so good to have you guys here. And I can't wait to see you all on Thursday. So you guys have a great night. I'll see you all soon.